I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
A bed behind you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then as he points over my shoulder, he grabs me and turns me to him. And that was a shock. And I try to push him away. And I only weighed probably 120 pounds at that time. He was a very large man. And I kept telling him, no, this is, I don't want this at all. And I'm sure I must have said, you must have had the wrong idea. And he wouldn't listen. You know, there was no way that he would listen to what I was saying. And he grabbed me again very forcefully and started biting on my top lip. And this was extremely painful. I thought he was going to bite my lip off. It was, and that's when he pushed me back onto the bed.
He bit the top of your lip,
Yes,
pushed you onto the bed,
right.
and then what happened?
And then it's been so long and it's just so hard to go into. I need to stop. You know why? Why is it still so painful?
What's going through your mind right now?
That I'm afraid of him.
You're still afraid of him?
Yes. But I'm still afraid, especially if she becomes president. And I know it's looking that way. So it's frightening, Aaron. It's frightening.
He throws you onto the bed.
Right.
And then what did he
And
do
I
to
was
you?
completely dressed. I had on a skirt and a blouse, and he tore the waist of my skirt. And then he ripped my pantyhose and he raped me. It was very vicious. I was just pinned down. And it was a very helpless situation. I did not know what to do. I was so frightened. I was only 35 at the time. And it was horrible. I just wanted it to be over with. So he would go away, you know, so he would
He
just...
got up?
No, he held
stayed
me
on
down
you?
for a long time. And then he did it again. I was so ready for him to leave me alone when he started raping me again. And it was very brief. And he did get up and he straightened himself, and my mouth was bleeding and it was hurting. And he just straightens himself and goes to the door.
With you still on the bed?
Yes,
And you're
crying. He straightens himself and he goes to the door and puts on his sunglasses and tells me to get some ice on my lip and goes out the door.
About how long did everything last?
Probably all of it. From the time he walked in the door until the time he left, not more than 25 or 30 minutes.
So when he was still on top of you, after he did it the first time, you thought it was over?
Yes.
And did he say anything to you? Or he just did it again?
He did say something, but it's just too horrible. I don't want to repeat it. But then he started again. And they come in early from the kitchen area. And just before they do...
They would be Bill and Hillary.
Bill and Hillary Clinton. And just before they do, a gentleman who had driven them from the airport comes straight over to me. He was he was supporting Clinton, but he didn't know what had happened to me, even though he was a friend. And he said, the topic of the conversation all the way from the airport was about you. And that startled me. And I knew I had to get out of there. Well, just as he moved, here comes Hillary straight for me. And she gets to me and she starts saying, I just want to thank you for everything you are doing in Bill's campaign, and it's so nice to meet you, and all of these things. So I just nodded and told my friend, let's go. And I thought somebody from behind had grabbed a hold of my arm, but it was her. She grabbed a hold of my arm and my hand, and she pulls me into her, and she says with this very angry look on her face, which had been so pleasant seconds before, and in a low voice says, do you understand everything you do? And that frightened me.
Do you think at that point she knew that Bill Clinton raped you, or do you just think that she knew something happened? What do you think she knew?
At that moment, people have asked me that, said, well, do you think she knew what happened? At that moment, and I have to go by what I felt then, and the look that she gave me, I felt like she knew. And
that
she
he
was,
raped you.
yes, and that she was telling me to keep quiet.
Keep quiet about her husband's rape.
Yeah.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
And he told me that he used the word Bill would like to meet with you up in this room number. And my response was, well, why does he want to see me? And Mr. Ferguson said, it's okay, we do this all the time.
What did you take that to mean?
I don't know. I was very excited the governor wanted to see me. I was. Who wouldn't be? And I thought, well, and when me and my friend had talked about it, we thought, well, we might could get a job.
Looking back, wasn't that a little naive?
Well, yes. That's the only reason why I would think that he would want me up there. Why? I mean, you know, the governor is asking you to come up to a room, and I did not know him or any of his past before that day.
Joan says Trooper Ferguson escorted her up in the elevator to the 11th floor, she thinks, and pointed to a room. The door was slightly ajar. She says Governor Clinton, alone and in shirt sleeves, showed her in. At first, she says, they made small talk. Then, she says, the governor made his move.
He was leaning up against the back of a wingback chair, and I was standing a little ways off from him. And we were talking. Well, he leaned up, and well, he tried to pull me over, and he put his hand up my leg. I mean, he jumped, you know, it was just real quick, and he tried to kiss on my neck. And he told me how he liked the way my curves were, and he liked the way my hair went down to the middle of my back. And then, I said, you know, don't do this, you know. I rejected it.
At that point, Ms. Jones, a lot of people wonder why you didn't just run out of the room, leave.
I was scared. I knew the state trooper was sitting outside, or I'm pretty sure he was sitting out there. And I was just very scared. He told me he knew my boss. This was a governor.
Jones claims that Mr. Clinton then exposed himself to her and explicitly requested she perform a sex act.
I was just shocked. I jumped up and I said, no, I'm not this kind of girl. I'm not that kind of girl. And he said, well, I don't want to make you do something you don't want to do.
What was his demeanor like?
Well, his face was very red. I remember it was beet red, and you could tell it. I don't know if he was embarrassed that I refused him or what, but he was just red as he could be.
Jones said Mr. Clinton told her to have her boss call him if she got in trouble for leaving her post downstairs. And then...
the last thing he said to me was, you're a smart girl, let's keep it between ourselves. And I left out the door.
Jones says she went downstairs and, distraught, immediately told her co-worker, Pamela Blackard, what happened. As the day progressed, she says she told her sister, Charlotte Brown, and another friend, Deborah Ballantyne.
Did any of the people you told advise you to file a complaint?
Debbie told me I need to report it to authorities. And I was scared. I was scared I'd lose my job. I didn't know.
Jones says in the months ahead, she ran into Trooper Ferguson again, and he said the governor wanted her phone number, which she says she didn't provide.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
Hillary Clinton is a fake feminist. No woman who advocates for women attacks the victims of sexual assault, be it by her husband or anybody else. And that's the reason I'm here, because I want everyone to know that this woman is not an advocate for women. She is a fake feminist.
Absolutely.
I mean, but she's making video after video. It's a huge part of her campaign. What do you say, though, to the millennial voters out there who see this and who believe that Hillary stands for women?
Oh, I think they need to research and to understand that Hillary is not for women. She needs to research what Bill Clinton and she did to all of us.
Absolutely. You know, they called us bimbos, drag $100 bills through a trailer park and you don't know what you're going to come up with. The bimbo eruption. I mean, she hasn't tried to talk to any of us women. Has she ever tried to talk to any of y'all?
Absolutely
to
not.
apologize or ask about what her husband
What do
says?
you think about her calling you bimbos? I mean, you are the women that were called that name.
Oh, I think it was so disrespectful. But that's how she had to try to get a handle on the situation.
Right.
She was disrespectful to all of us. And she had these people handle this, what she called bimbo eruption.
Instead of reaching out to us and asking us and finding out for herself, whether she believed us or not, then she would have known. But she didn't care to. Instead, it just kept going about we were unworthy, we were just bimbos, we were white trash, all of that. And that's exactly what she's always done. If she really cared about us as women, we are women, aren't we? Okay, so why didn't she try to reach out to us?
Reported that as First Lady, Hillary led the effort to disparage her husband's woman accusers who were dismissed as bimbo eruptions. In November, she wrote on her Twitter page, she said, "Every survivor of sexual assault deserves to be heard, believed, and supported."
That's interesting. I wasn't ever heard and supported and believed. She tried to basically derail me.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
Robert Bennett, Mr. Clinton's private lawyer, put it this way.
The president adamantly denies the vicious and mean-spirited allegations in this complaint. Quite simply, the incident did not occur.
On the same day, President Clinton made his one and only public comment about the charges.
Bob Bennett spoke for me, and I'm going back to work. I'm not going to dignify this by commenting on it.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
Clinton on the same tape laughing about her client passing a polygraph.
He took a lie detector test. I had to take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs. But what was sad about it was that the prosecutors had evidence. I handed it to Maylin Gibson. I said, "Well, this guy's ready to come from New York to prevent this miscarriage of justice."
It's sad that a 12-year-old had to go through what I had to go through. Because for days I cried and cried and cried over it. Sometimes I'll still break down and cry. When I come out of a coma, I had several stitches down there, and because they tore me up bad. And the doctor said it's a 99% chance that I can't have kids. When I was younger, I really wanted a kid so bad. I love kids, but I never had any kids.
Hillary claimed the victim was emotionally unstable, had fantasized about having sex with older men, and had romanticized the experience. It was such a romantic experience for Kathy Shelton that she spent 5 days in a coma and 10 years in therapy after the incident. Hillary Clinton, the so-called women's rights champion, blamed the rape victim.
There's never been any evidence presented by anyone to substantiate the allegations that Hillary Clinton made in that affidavit. To the victim, this was an attempt by Hillary Clinton to smear her in order to exonerate her attacker. The victim believes that Hillary Clinton lied in order to win.
You lied on me, and you're supposed to be it for women? Do you call that for women? What you done to me? And I heard you on tape laughing.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
The main reason Donald went into this was to get into my pants and to have the girls as his playground.
She and her then-husband, George Horaney, eventually sued Trump for breach of contract. And it was during that case, she says, that a comment from Trump put her over the edge.
We were in the same elevator going up to the room with the deposition, and he said to his lawyer, "See, I told you she was a great piece of ass," meaning he had already gotten me. And that just set me off to no end. After that, I was ready to go with the harassment.
She then filed her own case against him. In your lawsuit, and I'm gonna read from it here. This is the one filed in '97. You say the defendant Trump, over the plaintiff's objections, forcibly prevented plaintiff from leaving and forcibly removed plaintiff to a bedroom, whereupon plaintiff Trump subjected plaintiff to defendant's unwanted sexual advances, which included touching of plaintiff's private parts in an act constituting attempted rape. Tell me about that incident, when that happened and what happened.
That one that you are referring to happened in March of '93. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think maybe it was we were trying to press him to sign something or to okay budget or to guarantee things. And he wanted me there in person. And he kept on saying, come on, let's lay down. Just make yourself comfortable. Come on, we'll talk on the bed. And I'm like, I'm not talking on the bed. And he just was very aggressive with me. It's what I can say. He was always trying to grope me and touch me, and I had to tell him to stop. I would say, I didn't come here for this. I came here to discuss the business, and what are you doing?
But Harth withdrew that suit shortly thereafter.
So I did withdraw it, but again, it was part of the agreement to settle that case.
And earlier this year, when Law News unearthed the lawsuit and contacted Harth, she seemed to back away from her claims.
I saw Donald at a rally in South Carolina in January of this year. Okay? I did see him. I went with somebody, 2 people, friends of mine, that are very pro-Trump. And I said to him in a conversation, I said, Donald, if anybody brings up anything about that past, I'm not going to say anything negative. It's over, it's done, it's the past. And he thanked me for that. So in my mind, that was an agreement that I wasn't going to say anything and that he wasn't going to say anything either.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
There's a little bit down below. Pull the handle.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are
seeing
you?
you. Terrific.
Pleasure to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
Doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
It is enough to make the point that people ought not to automatically believe his accuser just because they may dislike the president on other grounds. or vice versa. What we're doing is hearing the story his accuser tells, as she tells it, a story the president and the country must now deal with.
So thank you very much for coming, and these 4 very courageous women have asked to be here, and it was our honor to help them. And I think they're each going to make just an individual short statement, and then we're going to have a little meeting, and we'll see you at the debate. Okay? Perhaps we'll start with Paula.
Well, I'm here to support Mr. Trump because he's going to make America great again. And I think everybody else should vote for him. And I think they should all look at the fact that he's a good person. He's not what other people have been saying he's been, like Hillary. So think about that.
Okay. Kathy Shelton.
So I'm also here to support Trump. At 12 years old, Hillary put me through something that you would never put a 12-year-old through. And she says she's for women and children. And she was asked last year on what happened, and she says she's supposed to defend whether they did it or not. Now she's laughing on tape, saying she knows they did it.
You went through a lot.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Juanita Broderick, and I'm here to support Donald Trump. I tweeted recently, and Mr. Trump retweeted it, that actions speak louder than words. Mr. Trump may have said some bad words, but Bill Clinton raped me, and Hillary Clinton threatened me. I don't think there's any comparison.
I'm Kathleen Lilly, and I am here to support Donald Trump. The reason for that is the first day that he announced for president, he said, "I love this country and I want America to be great again." And I cried when he said that, because I think that this is the greatest country in the world. I think that we can do anything. I think we can accomplish anything. I think that we can bring peace to this world, and I think Donald Trump can lead us to that point.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thank you all very much.
Tonight to say that you've never had an extramarital affair. That allegation is false.
She was terrified. You know, an average person, Mary and Joseph,